educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. All right, hello everybody. Let's open up the doors to Pharmacist Friday on Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes. As the hostess of this program, I am honored to be able to bring to you information that simplifies things, because we do not have to make it difficult, folks. In fact, I think there's like this epidemic of making everything epically difficult. Well, that's not necessary, and you're going to be in for a treat because, folks, health is simple, and it doesn't have to be difficult. We've made it difficult, and we've complicated it, but hey, I love U-turns, so let's make sure that you and your friends know how simple it actually is. This program is being sponsored by Daily with Doc. As an independent distributor of longevity and also a leader in the Critical Health News line and Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health, it is my honor and privilege to present to you the one and only pharmacist that I know that really takes this whole health into serious perspective. Okay. So in pharmacy school, they teach about nutrition. That's something that's different than in regular medical school, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And the pharmacist that we have on with us today, Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, has really been taking this nutrition thing to heart in sharing the message and making it simple so people understand that they can be their own health authority and be empowered as an individual, and just keep it simple. So without further ado, I just want to thank Pharmacist Ben Fuchs for being here with us on another Pharmacist Friday. Hello, Ben. Welcome.
Hello, Rebecca. So nice to see you. Thank you for Saturday. We had a wonderful time. And I hope
That was
everybody was inspired, because that's what it's all about. Inspiration. We're not in the product business, the network marketing business, the health business. We're in the inspiration business. We're in the hope business. We want people to be inspired when they interact with us, inspired to take control of their health, control of their lives. We want people to be their own health authorities. I hate when people make me an authority. I want you to be your own authority. I want our customers and our clients and our patients, our loved ones to be their own health authority. And that's where keeping everything simple is so important. The medical model has got more drugs and devices and protocols and hospitals and surgical procedures that they do, and we're sicker than ever before. I used to go to the medical library in the old days before the internet. I'd have to go to the medical library to do my research, and I'd pull out a stack of books and Xerox them all and have stacks of copies and have to run down and pay the parking meter. And it was just this big nightmare. And I remember thinking to myself how amazing it was in the medical library, how many books and journals and articles and publications there were, how much information we had juxtaposed with how sick we are as a culture. We got all this information. We know about all the little molecular chemical reactions, molecular reactions, and genetic transformations, and what every gene codes for. We know so much about how the body works from a cellular, molecular perspective, but we're still sick, very sick. We're the sickest culture that ever lived. Our life expectancy is actually dropping the last few years. Diabetes is going through the roof. Some 50 to 60% of the world, and as well as Americans, are going to be diabetic by the year 2050. That's over 60%. You got 60% of Americans have at least one chronic disease, 40% of Americans have at least two, and 20% have at least 5 chronic diseases, 5 of them. We got a serious, serious health problem here. And at the same time, we know so much. So what gives? What gives is that we are overthinking. This is the real health issue that we have. And it's a health issue that smart people suffer from more than not so smart people. I call this health challenge overthinkitis. And that's what we suffer from. We overthink. The fact of the matter is our bodies have evolved over the course of 2 million years to heal itself. This healing process is built in to every one of the 100 trillion cells of the body via a process called homeostasis, which some of you may have heard of. Homeo means the same. Stasis means to stay. Homeostasis refers to the fact that the body likes to stay the same. So when things go up, it tends to pull them down. When things go down, it tends to pull them up. This healing process, this homeostatic process is known as healing. When something needs to be fixed, the body knows how to do it as long as it has the raw materials. And that's really where it becomes key. Now, you know, I've talked about the triangle disease for years. Over the last couple of months, we've simplified it to the points of disease, the plane of disease, the dots of disease. We have to come up with a catchier term. None of these really float my boat here. None of these really tickle my fancy. But the point is, there's 2 points. That's it, people. The job, the main job, or one of the main jobs, arguably the main job of the body, is to get energy and direct that energy. Nothing else happens without energy. Everything's energy. Nothing happens. Energy is a really weird word. If I asked you to define energy, you probably would have a hard time defining it, because it really is hard to define what energy is. But in physics, energy is defined as the capacity to do work. And the body depends on energy because it has to work. So its main job, or arguably its main job, is to get energy from food and then distribute that energy to the living parts of the body, which are called the cells. I think it's the main job. There's other jobs that the body does, including healing and immunity and running the various and pumping the blood, etc. But really, everything depends on energy. So you could say the main job of the body is to get energy, to get it from food and then distribute it. The system that gets energy from food is the digestive system. And that energy from food is distributed through the body via the circulatory system. So you got the digestive system and you got the circulatory system, the blood. Got the digestive system and you got the blood. Once the food is put into the blood, it gets converted into a form that the body can use called sugar. Sugar is the form of energy that the body uses. So the main job of the body is to get energy from food, turn it into sugar, and then distribute it. Now, along with the energy from food, there are carriers of energy, and those carriers of energy are called the mighty 90 essential nutrients. The mighty 90 essential nutrients carry the energy. So you've got three main systems here. You've got the digestive system, you've got the blood sugar system, and you've got the blood, the circulatory system. Those are the three things that you got to focus on. We say all disease is cell disease. There's no disease that you can think of. There's no disease that exists that's not a cellular problem. All disease involves the cell. The body's made up of cells and stuff that comes out of the cells. Once the stuff comes out of the cells, that ship has sailed. You can't fix the stuff once it's out of the cells. You got to fix tomorrow's stuff. You can fake it, and this is what plastic surgery does. This is what doctor protocols like ablations and surgical procedures do. They try to fix the stuff that came out of the cells because they can't really do anything with the cells. A cell is not responsive to the doctor's medicine. A cell only takes what it's been accustomed to, what it's been prepared for over the last 2 million years, or the last really 3.5 billion years that it's been around. The last 3.5 billion years, cells have developed a menu from which they like to eat. There's no drugs on the menu. There's only nutrition and oxygen on the menu. Nutrition includes water, includes sugar. There's nutrition and there's oxygen on the menu, period. No drugs are on the menu. There's nothing in the doctor's magical bag of tricks that's on the menu, and this accounts for the failure of modern medicine. Modern medicine cannot address the cell, but it doesn't matter because we can. By making sure that the energy comes into the body through the digestive system, is converted appropriately into the blood sugar system, and then gets distributed through the blood. So we say all disease is cell disease, but all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. The only thing that should get into the blood are foods, or not foods, but the components of foods, the nutrients of foods, and oxygen. That's the only thing from the outside that should be getting into the blood from the inside. Components from foods and oxygen. However, over the last 100 years, 150 years, if you really want to go far all the way back, you could make a case for 10,000 years, which in the perspective of a 2 million-year-old body is like one or 2 seconds to midnight. If all of the 2 million years of the body's life on Earth was 2 million years, and that's really when we turned into Homo habilis from monkeys 2 million years ago. If you turn that 2 million years into a 24-hour clock, the last 100 years, or even the last 10,000 years, is 1 minute to 12, or even 10 seconds to 12. So really, it's only been very recent that we've completely changed the way we eat, so that the foods we get into the body now are completely different. The body wants one thing, we're giving it another. This is why foods are so important. Now, the digestive system isn't only supposed to extract energy from food, it also detoxifies. The digestive system is also your detoxification system. So the digestive system is not only extracting energy from food, it's also detoxifying and eliminating. That includes the gallbladder and the liver and the intestine. The digestive system is responsible for extracting nutrients from food so they can be converted into energy via the blood sugar system, and detoxification. Between the detoxification role and the energy absorption role, you have the main role, the two main things the digestive system does. You can see how critical they are. You're talking about poisons and you're talking about energy. The reason this is so important is because while the digestive system and the blood sugar system are the keys to health, the keys to the health of the body and the keys to understanding the disease process of the body, most people don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear about food. I'm not talking about present company here. I'm talking about the people that we're talking to. They don't want to hear they can't have their French fries. They can't have their ice cream. And this is not to beat anybody up. This is just to say there are ulterior motives to eating. Lions don't eat when they're depressed. Animals in the wild don't eat that when they're not hungry. They stop eating when they're full. Only domesticated animals, including human beings and our domesticated pets, eat for non-physical reasons. Animals in the wild don't. Domesticated animals do. We are suffering from domestication when it comes to our foods, because if we just stopped eating and when we were hungry, when we were full, and didn't eat when we weren't hungry, and we only ate foods that were fine to run a healthy body, every animal has specific foods that it's supposed to eat, we wouldn't have any problems. But we don't, because we eat emotionally. And to make matters worse, there are insidious, perhaps demonic forces that have figured out how to tap in to those emotional and mental drives for us to eat. And I'm telling you, I said this for years, and I'm going to say it again. When you see those golden arches, you should be giving it the finger. They hate you. They want you dead. And they want to extract every penny from you first. They want your mother sick. They want your kids sick. Now, I'm being facetious here, but that's how we have to look at it. Haagen-Dazs wants you dead. They want you to have an autoimmune disease. They want you interacting with the medical model. And it's no accident, by the way, that the food companies and the drug companies are owned by the same people. And there's a good reason for that, because food has a medical quality that can be manipulated. And so we are being tweaked. Our strings are being pulled. We should resent this. When we see McDonald's, we should resent them. A healthy culture will never have a McDonald's. Just yesterday, an article came out on ultra-processed food and its impact on health and longevity. You know, there's a no crap, Sherlock, you know, if you know what I'm saying. Duh. Of course it does. So we have to take that into our control. Now, while nobody wants to hear about food, and again, present company excluded, people don't like to hear about food. They don't like to hear they shouldn't have the French fries. We feel guilty about it because we know intuitively that we should be doing it, but the drive is too hardwired to do it. But here's the thing. Our food represents a leverage point, a point of power. And it's not that you can't eat the French fries, but if you have arthritis, eliminating the French fries represents a point of power. It represents a place where you can be liberated from the shackles of the disease process, where you can be liberated from the prison of the medical model, where you can be liberated from the tyranny of medication and surgical procedures and suffering, just flat out suffering. It's not that, you know, you're a bad person, you're a good person. This represents a point of power for us. And so if you have a chronic degenerative disease, I'm telling you right now, if you work at these 2 points, the blood sugar system and the digestive system, which both represent parts of food because blood sugar is affected by food and obviously digestion is affected by food. If you just work on those 2 points via food modifications, changing the way you eat, eating less food, changing the proportions of the macronutrients, that is the protein and fats and carbohydrates, getting more protein and more fats and less sugar, and making sure you're on a micronutrient supplement program that addresses digestive health, that addresses the blood sugar system, and that provides the body, the cells, with the mighty 90 essential nutrients. I'm giving you a 100% guarantee. 100%. Number one, because it's logical. And number two, I can say this because it's logical. And number two, because I've seen it so many times. Every day I've seen this. I'm giving you a 100% guarantee, not 99.999, 100% guarantee. If you do this correctly, by working with the digestive system, by working with the blood sugar system, and by addressing the four dimensions of health, the spiritual, mental, and emotional and physical, which you don't talk about anywhere near enough, in my opinion, I'm giving you a 100% guarantee your health challenges will begin to resolve. And the sicker you are, the faster they'll resolve. The more weight you need to lose, the faster it'll drop off. The lousier your skin is, the faster it will turn around. The worse your acne is, the faster it will disappear. The more dramatic your movement disorders are, the faster they can begin to resolve themselves. Now, it may take you a long time, depending on how far you are down the rabbit hole, to completely resolve, but you can begin the process immediately. Today, within a second, you're a decision away. Your customers, your children, your parents, your loved ones are one decision away from beginning to heal, from beginning to reverse their chronic diseases, simply by addressing what's coming